Hello, beautiful people, and welcome to the second episode of Answery podcast. This is Iri from Answery, and I'm a head of business development at Answery, and these ladies are my beautiful colleagues. So please, the mic is yours.
Hi, I'm Natalie. I'm the head of the customer support department at Answery. It's really nice to see you girls once again. I'm super happy.
Like we don't see each other every day. Okay. Hi, I'm Mary. I'm head of quality assurance, and I'm really glad we gathered together again today.
So we might see each other every day, but not that beautiful as we are today. Let's call it like this. Anyway, so this is the first episode, actually, the first episode in 2025. And my first question to you girls, how was the holiday?
What's that?
I found a holiday, like a holidays.
We didn't have any holidays, and while everyone enjoys their free time, we work harder as usual.
Because, during the holidays, we have what we call peak activities. So there is no rest for us, though we are not the weekend.
That sounds a bit depressing, but anyway. Actually, this is what I would love to talk about today, about like seasonal activities. Here we are, talking about seasonal activities. So what are seasonal activities related to? Is it like holidays or some other special occasions?
Actually, it's related to any changes in the game, for example, updates, various events, everything new that can influence the functionality of the game or the user experience.
Good point. So usually that means basically, right? That means that we have the amount of work is increased for us, right? So how is that a big increase usually? Like, so you've been working for, let me rephrase it. You've been working for customer support for almost like 10 years. So you've been faced a lot. So what's your opinion?
Yeah, of course. The increase in tickets is usually huge, and we always take measurements after the event. And sometimes the tickets are increased by 40%, but sometimes it's even 60% at least. So yes, the increase is really huge, is significant.
Yeah, like double. That's a double trouble. So do you think is the increase is the biggest challenge for the like support team?
Of course, the increase is a challenge, but it's not the only one. For example, if it comes to the updates, it's more or less standard, but it's much more complicated with the events because about additional engagements and I don't know. And most importantly, events are time limited. So there is a need for a radical restructuring of all processes. And for example, we always try to adjust our standard ticket distribution system, review our priorities in tickets, and also we try to adapt communication with the users.
Yeah, and we need to adapt communication quite a bit because the psychology of players changes quite a bit during events because there is this extra competitiveness, there is this feeling of exclusivity, then there's this thing that is very often used in LiveOps is fear of missing out. So they're always on edge, and support needs to guide the narrative to prevent reputation damage to the company during this event. If you want to know how it feels to be an agent at the point of some huge live event, imagine yourself being a retail worker in some huge supermarket just before Black Friday starts. So you're standing there and you're waiting for these doors to open. That's how it feels.
Oh, I really like this analogy of Black Friday. I even had like kind of a goosebumps, but not in a good way, to be honest. So what should we, so okay, in this case, what should we do? Is like, should we prepare ourselves mentally?
You do have to prepare mentally, morally, yeah. But it's not only that, because event is usually a very important thing and you need to prepare very intensely. So we know that things can go wrong and you need to be prepared for that. So we understand that we have to work with it before the event actually starts, then during the event, and then after the event. We still do have some business to do.
Yeah, agree. Actually, before the event, it's a really important stage when preparing for the event. And usually before the event, we work with the new information. because typically all events, they include some new features, new content, new mechanics. And plus, as we have already pointed out, the events are time limited and there is an increase in tickets. So our agents, they just don't have time to figure out the new information on the spot. So we should help them. We should organize the information in a convenient format, and we should make sure that the agents have an easy access to this information. And ideally, I would add that the agents should have an access to a test version of the event to experience it in advance. And sometimes at this stage, the agents can even suggest which information could be added to the FAQ to reduce the amount of tickets about some new mechanics.
Right.
And another advantage of giving the test version of the event to the agent is that they can act as an additional layer of testers, like quality assurance, because if you have experienced agents, they know these tricky things where the tension can arise with the users because they understand how users think and feel. And if they find something, they can communicate it to the developers so they eliminate it before the event starts, and so prevent some more chaos. Really good idea.
To be more aesthetic, so we already put the Black Friday in some retail analogy. So let's call it like, so the support agent has to feel the customer's shoes, to be in the customer's shoes to see if everything works good. Anyway, my question, like, that sounds like logical, but still, is it possible to be like 100%, prepared for the event with all the information?
You can do as much as you can, of course. You can process all the information, but it is absolutely impossible to be prepared for everything. Because, as you've mentioned, we've been doing this for a long time, for 13 years now, and still players manage to surprise us. Still, we can't always predict what they're going to do or what they're going to ask. There can be requests that might you can be taken aback, a little bit. For example, one of our clients had a Halloween event and they had a lot of Halloween objects, special items. And one of them was, this traditional black hat. And in the game, it was called the witch's hat. And one of the users wrote to us and said, like, okay, you've got this hat and it is called the witch's hat, but this is the wrong name. The correct name is the conical hat. Myself and my fellow witches are very obsessed about this stereotyping, and we would like you to change it. Of course, in the end, it's like, you understand it's feedback. You process it like feedback. In the first moment, you're like, okay, what should I say? I say, I'm very sorry your coven is upset. Please do not curse us. We'll change everything and remedy everything. So yeah, you need to be prepared, is that anything can happen. So you need to, again, prepare mentally for that.
Right. So let's say we have all the information, like more or less, right? Basically, we've done the homework, right? But there is another thing, the volume of requests and tickets. And my question is is it possible to predict the volume of the requests?
It's not impossible.
Is it possible to predict? I'm a robot on a repeat. Sorry. So, is it possible to predict the amount of the amount of tickets, and is it possible to be prepared for that?
For the spike, yeah, it is not impossible, especially if you have been working with the game before. If it is the first time, then it is a bit of an unknown, but still you can take an educated guess. But if you have already had some events before that, you can study previous activity peaks when they occur. You can pinpoint that time, why they occur, and you can try to strengthen, to boost your team for these periods, both from the side of the customer support and from the developer side. So you can do that.
That sounds very stressful, to be honest. But I think something goes wrong.
I think we are lost.
Question number 6 now.
We're a bit lost. Lost in translation. I think there was something that Natalie had to
No, it is about strengthening the team, but not really. If we don't have...
Sorry. Okay. All right. So that sounds logical if you have like more work, and sometimes it's nice to have like, extra pair of hands. But what if you don't have this possibility? And what if there is no options to increase your team like during those spikes?
Well, sometimes getting more hands it's not necessarily the best business decision. It depends on the situation. But if you don't have the possibility to do that, or maybe you simply don't want to, there are still things that you can do, for example, to increase the speed with which your agents work, their efficiency. So you need to make sure that they have easy access to all the information. Again, then you need to have a special channel with LiveOps specialists. I don't want to say the word sacrifice, I just did, but you need to do some optimization in your communication style. For example, we do use saved responses as sometimes as templates to our replies, but not always. Quite a lot of responses are written by agents by hand, but for the period of the event, it could be wise to transfer some of these responses again into saved templates so that it is easier for them and it is faster for them to respond.
Mm-hmm.
And again, you can prepare saved responses for possible questions that they ask about the event. This can take quite a lot of load out of your agents.
That's right. I would like to also add that it wouldn't hurt to automate every process wherever possible, because it can save you a lot of time. For example, you can set up, we usually do it when it's possible, we set up automations to sort the tickets based on some keywords. And if there is a group of tickets related to the same issue, it's easier and faster the agents to handle it. And there could also be other situations. Like, for example, we had a case when a bug happened in a game and we received tons of requests, and plus we stopped receiving the player's ID due to this bug, but we needed it to fix the issue, so we decided to create automation which would request the users for their ID before the ticket reached the agent. So this way the users, they waited less for their fix.
Right. Sounds like it very stressful. It is a freaking stressful job.
Yeah, we keep getting back to stressful. I've noticed. Yes, you're right. When we are preparing for the event, we need to think about that as well, about the mental state of our agents, because we understand that this is, yes, very stressful, but we need them at full capacity. And for them to be most productive, we need them comfortable and secure. So we do quite a lot of preparation in that area as well. So we have small training sessions where we discuss all the new information together, all the intricacies of it. Then we can have some training sessions on and refresh on how to speak to very negative, abusive, angry users, because let's be clear, there will be some. And we even have some small training sessions on self-help, self-support, like psychological training, so that help themselves. But basically, our objective is that they understand that they're not alone, that they can come to us for advice, for a solution all the time.
Actually, I've heard about those magical circles, and could you invite me the next time you're gonna have, such things? Because I want to know how to stress less and how to deal with some toxic people.
Absolutely. I'll send you the invites. Don't worry.
Please, I will appreciate it.
Everyone's welcome. Yeah.
Actually, yeah, when I started to work at Answeri and I've learned more things what we're doing for our internal projects, that was so nice to hear about such things, and also about some soft skills trainings, and especially working with the toxic people. But anyway, speaking about these things, so is it more or less the same logic as customers are doing? They're building their group. The same logic probably applies to the players who gets into the group to discuss the issues.
Oh yes.
Hell yes.
They can arrange some sort of plans, and discuss it a lot. They go on social media and discuss it there, and they can even put instructions on how to contact customer support, or they discuss the issues that are arising. Here's actually the important point. We need to have a very clear and well-built workflows of how we communicate with community managers and work together, simply because both these services, they're like first signaling light, especially when a mass problem, the thing that we all fear so much, a mass problem in the event, when it appears, customer support and community, even they know, just almost immediately.
So let's say, all right, let's say the day X is here, is today. It's like we're watching, like looking at the map, and there is a point, and like you are here. So okay, the event is here, you are here, and the mass issue just has happened. So what action should have been taken?
There are some tips, and when a mass issue happens, the volume of tickets can overwhelm our agents. So the best thing here is to choose the right priorities, and we always try to focus on the bug itself, rather than trying to respond to all the users at once. Sometimes we create a group of loyal players and we establish like a direct communication with them in a chat format, and we ask them for the details about the issue. We ask them to send us some videos and screenshots. Then we test a solution with them, and only when we are sure that we found the right solution, we answer all other players at once with some result already.
Right. So here is like we are so as a support team, we should be like the best friend of customers, right? Like a big brother, I don't know, sister. And for us, it's the same with the developers. They should be our like best friends in this case. I bet in this chain.
Oh,
this chain of
yeah, because eventually they are those who fix the mechanical issues. For example, we can just go to them and inform them about it, and they can also make certain decisions. For example, we had, again, a case when late at night there was an issue just connected with the purchasing system. Something wasn't working, and we started to get these angry messages from users. So late at night, we contacted the developers and said, oh, okay, something's going on. They looked at it and they made a decision to switch it off for the night, these features. So because if they didn't, and in the morning we would have been faced with an avalanche of angry players coming from all the sides. So, but in the morning they dealt with it swiftly. So again, avoided quite a large of data spike.
Yeah, I agree that it's really great when you have a direct communication with the developers team. But sometimes the issues are not related to any technical failures, which can be fixed by the developers. So, for example, the players can't find a reward after completing a quest in an event. And we believe that these issues should be... So we believe that the agents should be able to resolve these issues without escalation them to the technical team. For example, they should have a tool which allows them to check the in-game activities of the player, to check their purchases, to check everything, and to be able to send them an item to their game. And it's better when it could happen without requesting any additional information from the users, because they are angry already. So we need to be able to have as much information as possible about their profiles, about their activities, their in-game logs. And actually, the more autonomy the agents have during an event, the better, because when they escalate the ticket to a dev team, and while they are waiting for their response, the event may already be over, and the players won't be...
The game is over. Go away. You're right.
And
so,
and again, if you really also want to reduce the friction detention, you need to set your refund policies and your payment policies well in advance. Be absolutely clear about them and discuss them with the support agents so that they knew how to react. Because especially when it comes to compensations, because it is always a very sore point, and quite a lot of players will come to you because of the minutest things that went wrong, and they will demand compensation and need to know whether to to give it to them or not. And if you do, there can be rumors about it. And other players can come to you and say, we all have this bug. They don't, but they would like to exploit the opportunity, And here agents need to know how to react and how to act without running with each case to the dev team.
So it's like, be careful, students, giving a lot of candies to all the kids. So is that first, a lot of work, and I wanted to say mucho trabajo, but is it like the rule that you have to put all of the customer support resources to the event?
No, I wouldn't say so. It's important not to forget about the standard issues. For example, losing accounts. And when a player loses their account, the longer it takes for us to restore it, the less time they'll have left for the event. So I think that we need to handle these requests even more fast than usual, because it's important for us to let our players to take part in an event.
And buy something.
Of course.
But basically, it is all about the event, but from different angles,
So it's a party. Let's call it a party. So after this party, could we relax a bit?
No. Well, not really. Again, no. Well, you see, after the event, we still have some work to do. We need to analyze all the information we get. We do collect feedback during the event, of course, but we need to sort it, to analyze it, to create some statistics for the event, for the developers to maybe improve something in the future events. Again, to analyze our tools. See, maybe we can improve that next time. And also maybe we can add something to our training sessions, some points that were troublesome during the event, again, to make it easy, to make it more successful next time.
All right.
But you can also celebrate, especially if it went well.
Well, I hope there is at least a little place for celebration. But anyway, so today we talked a lot about how to prepare for the event, how to deal with the event when it's right here, and also what should you do after. But let's make a short list. Let's call it a bad decision list. What should you not do if you are having such events and you are expecting some spikes activities? Okay, a bad decision list.
Again, yes. First of all, returning to the compensations. It is not perhaps a very good idea to be too generous, because, well, it will affect your profits, and it will also show the players that you are ready to give them free stuff, and they might try to abuse it. So that's
again, like candies and kids.
And if you're hiring new people, it's a completely different side of the story. But if you're hiring new people and they're absolutely just from the factory, they don't know anything about customer support, right? It would be again unwise to hire a lot of this kind of trainees before an event, because you would have your hands full with the event, and then you will also have to look after your new employees, and it's a bit too much and overwhelming.
Speaking about new things, I would advise not to introduce anything new before the event, except for the event itself. For example, don't switch to a new help desk system before the event, because it will be a lot of troubles when you are transferring your workflows and tickets to a new system, and you'll have enough problems to deal with during the event, trust me.
All right. Another analogy that comes up to my mind, sorry, maybe today I'm just thinking of different kinds of shoes, but this is don't wear new shoes while you are preparing for the long distance walk, right?
Yeah,
Absolutely.
that's right.
So after this bad decision checklist, actually, I wanted to say that while we were talking about the subject with our internal team, we started to make something, and actually we made it. We made an amazing LiveOps checklist that you could use, and then you could download somewhere here. I don't know. So our producer, the one you don't see today, but she's here, she's gonna place it somewhere. So you can download it for free and use it for your events. And I hope it's going to be helpful. And also, if you have any customer support, community management questions, or some topics in mind that you would love us to uncover at the next episode, so text us and we will think of it. Stay on the line. We will get back to you. So anyway, I think this is more or less that's it. So how should we summarize the podcast? Be prepared for the activities, for seasons and the holidays, but also be prepared to improvise a lot, I guess. And if you have any questions, let us know. We're here to help. And don't forget to download the checklist.
Thank you very much. It was a
Thank
pleasure.
you very much. See you, everybody. See you tomorrow. Okay.